Have you ever felt that your prayers, whispered in the silence of the night, might go unheard? That despite the tears you shed, the challenges you face seem unrelenting? But what if I told you those trials might be the answer you've been waiting for? What if every struggle, every hardship, is Allah's way of drawing you closer to Him? You've prayed for guidance, for clarity, and Allah has started responding in ways you might not yet realize. A door closes here, a burden shifts there. Is it just coincidence? Or is Allah choosing you, refining you, for a purpose you cannot yet see? Think about it. The trials you endure, the moments that push you to your limits, could they be signs that Allah is preparing you for something greater? What if those moments of deep reflection, sudden clarity, or unexpected challenges are a last way to communication with you, drawing you closer to Allah? In this video, we will uncover 6 powerful things that start happening when Allah has chosen you. Feeling deep remorse for your sin. Have you ever paused, truly paused, to think about the life you've lived? To look back at the moments where you strayed, where mistakes piled up, and guilt followed like a shadow? Maybe it's in those moments when you feel the heaviest weight on your heart that Allah is calling you back. Think about it. Why does your heart ache when you recall certain actions? Why does regret feel like it's consuming you from within? Is it not a sign, a divine reminder that you're being guided, that Allah hasn't given up on you? You're conscious now, more than ever, of the sins you've committed. They replay in your mind, like an old film you can't turn off. The lies, the anger, the times you hurt someone, the moments you turned away from prayer. They're all there, vivid and relenting. When you feel that pull toward repentance, do you ever wonder why? Why, out of billions of people, is your heart the one being moved? Could it be because Allah has chosen you? That He sees something in you, even when you can't see it in yourself? Repentance, it's not just a word, it's a transformation. It's looking in the mirror and saying, I don't want to be that person anymore. It's the act of cleaning your heart, washing away the stains of past mistakes, and saying to Allah, Your Rob, I'm here, forgive me. And what happens when you begin that journey? You find that your heart starts to lighten, that you become softer, kinder, and more forgiving, not just toward others, but toward yourself. But here's the thing, not everyone will understand this change. Some may hold on to the version of you that made mistakes. They might question your sincerity or remind you of who you were. And that's okay. Maybe they're part of the test too. You see, when you choose to turn back to Allah, you might notice something strange. Not everyone will be happy for you. Some may even resent your growth. Why? Perhaps because your light, your transformation, reminds them of the darkness they haven't yet faced. But don't let that stop you. Allah is with you, closer than you can imagine. And when Allah is on your side, does it matter who isn't? Deepens the connection with the Quran. Have you ever opened the Quran, expecting just words, but instead, you felt something stir within your soul? Words that you've read before, perhaps, but this time they feel different, alive, as though they're speaking directly to you. Think about those moments when life weighed you down. Problems surrounded you, and solutions seemed out of reach. And then, a verse appeared as if it was sent just for you. You weren't searching for it, but somehow it found you. Doesn't it make you wonder how can the Quran, revealed over 1,400 years ago, still hold the answers to your most personal struggles? How can it comfort a heart shattered by pain or guide a soul lost in confusion? The more time you spend with it, the more it transforms you. Suddenly, the Quran isn't just words on a page, it's a companion. a friend. It's there in your quietest moments and your loudest storms, reminding you of who you're and where you're meant to go. And when you apply it to your life, that's when the real transformation begins. Have you noticed how your heart begins to change when you follow its guidance? Maybe you've started showing more patience, forgiving more easily, or seeing the good even in difficult situations. The Quran not only strengthens your relationship with Allah, but also changes how you see the world. You start to realize that life's challenges aren't here to break you, they're here to shape you. And no matter what others may think or say, you remain steadfast, because your anchor is the word of Allah. When you let the Quran guide you, you'll find that no hardship, no opposition, and no scheme can harm you without Allah's permission. Feeling a desire to improve your character. Have you ever had that moment when you look at your life and think, something needs to change? Maybe it's not just about the big things, but the small, everyday habits, the way you respond to frustration, the tone of your voice when you're upset, or the thoughts you allow to linger in your heart. Maybe you've noticed it lately, how anger flares up too quickly, how impatience takes over in the smallest of moments. And yet, there's this pull inside you, a quiet voice saying, "You're better than this." But here's the question. Have you ever wondered why this voice grows louder, especially during times of hardship? Could it be that Allah is using those moments to refine you, to purify your character, and to prepare you for something greater? Think about how much strength it takes to be patient when everything inside you wants to explode. Or how much courage it requires to forgive someone who doesn't even ask for it. These aren't small acts, they're victories of the soul. But here's something to remember. Allah sees your efforts, your struggles, and your victories. And when you strive to remove bad deeds with good deeds, when you choose to forgive, to be patient, to let go of anger, you are not just improving yourself, you're aligning yourself with the values Allah loves. The truth is, when you choose to grow, not everyone will celebrate it. But does that matter when Allah Himself is watching, guiding and supporting you? So ask yourself, what kind of person to be? The one weighed down by anger, impatience, and old habits? Or the one who strives to be the best version of themselves in the eyes of Allah? Our hearts soften toward others. Have you ever noticed how life changes when your heart begins to soften? The things that once angered you, the moments that tested your patience, they don't hold the same power over you anymore. Could it be that Allah is working within you, replacing frustration with understanding and anger with compassion? Think back to the times when impatience consumed you, when reckless decisions or sharp words seemed easier than restraint. And now, you pause, you listen, you choose kindness over reaction. Could it be that Allah is preparing your heart for something greater? Do you feel it? That growing empathy for others, the urge to help, to ease someone else's burden, even when no one's watching? Maybe it's not just a random feeling. Maybe it's Allah guiding you toward a deeper connection with humanity. What about forgiveness? The times when you've been hurt, betrayed, or misunderstood. Yet, instead of holding on to the pain, you choose to let it go. Does it ever cross your mind how much strength it takes to forgive? But here's the thing. Forgiving doesn't always mean the world will celebrate your grace. Sometimes, your kindness unsettles people. Why? Perhaps because your ability to rise above resentment makes them question their own inability to do the same. And then, there's the kindness you show to those who least deserve it. The patience you extend to the one who tests you most. Why do you do it? Is it because you've realized that their actions reflect their struggles, not yours? Or is it because Allah reminds you in the Quran, repel evil with that which is better, and thereupon the one whom between you and him is enmity will become as though he was a devoted friend. Surah Fasilat 41 verse 34. Why do softened hearts sometimes create tension? Why do some people resist the light of kindness? Could it be that your gentleness reminds them of their own rough edges? Or that your empathy shines where theirs has dimmed? Whatever the reason, remember this: when you choose to soften your heart, you are not just changing yourself, you're changing the world around you. And even if others misunderstand or resist, isn't it enough to know that Allah sees your efforts? No matter how people respond, Allah is your witness. And when He is pleased with you, does it matter if others aren't? Experience trial, but our faith grows stronger. Have you ever found yourself asking, why me? When trials come crashing into your life, when the weight of the world feels unbearable, do you wonder why it's happening? Think about it. Why are the strongest believers often tested the most? Could it be because Allah sees something in them that they themselves cannot see? Your trials are not random. They're crafted with wisdom, tailored for your growth. Have you noticed how much closer you feel to Allah when the world feels like it's falling apart? The moments when you pray with desperation, with a heart laid bare, are the moments when you realize Allah has been waiting for you to turn to Him all along. And then, something shifts. You stop panicking. The despair starts to fade. It's not because the problem disappears, but because your heart has found its anchor. You begin to rely on Allah fully, the one who controls the heavens and the earth, the one who can make a way where there seems to be none. Isn't it incredible how, when you trust in Allah, solutions come from places you never expected? But there's more to it. Every hardship you face carries a hidden blessing. The people you meet, the lessons you learn, the strength you discover, it all becomes part of a greater plan. Do you ever stop to wonder why some of the best versions of yourself emerge in the hardest times? Maybe it's because trials strip away the distractions, forcing you to confront your true self. And through that, Allah refines you, purifies you, and prepares you for something greater. So ask yourself, how many blessings have been hidden in your hardships? And how much stronger have you become because of them? Feeling deep peace during prayer. Have you ever paused to think about what prayer truly means to you? Is it just a duty, a ritual performed 5 times a day? Or has it become something deeper, lifeline, a conversation with Allah that your soul craves? Imagine this. No matter how heavy your burdens, no matter how loud the noise of the world gets, when you stand for Salah, the weight begins to lift. Why is it that the movements of Salah, standing, bowing, prostrating, feel different when your heart is fully present? Could it be that these are not just physical acts, but moments of surrender, of connecting your finite self with the infinite mercy of Allah? And sujud, have you felt it? That moment when you're at your lowest physically, yet your heart is elevated spiritually. Isn't it in this vulnerability that you feel closest to Allah? But what happens after the prayer ends? Have you noticed the calm that lingers? The clarity that helps you navigate the rest of your day? It's as if prayer doesn't just lighten your burdens, it transforms them. The challenges remain, but your heart is steadier, your mind clearer, your soul stronger. But here's something to reflect on. Why is it that not everyone sees prayer this way? Why do some dismiss its power, or fail to understand the serenity it brings to your life? Prayer is not just a duty, it's a refuge, a place where your heart speaks the language of gratitude, hope, and surrender. And no matter who questions it, no matter who misunderstands it, Your connection with Allah remains unshaken. So ask yourself, when was the last time you let Salah transform your soul, rather than just fulfill your obligation? Trials are not here to break you, they're here to shape you. They're Allah's way of saying, I see something in you, and when Allah sees potential in you, no scheme, no enemy, no challenge can stand in your way. So, as you reflect on the signs in your life, remember this: Allah's wisdom is far greater than our understanding. The challenges you face today could be the very blessings that prepare you for tomorrow. All of these are reflection of Allah's love in your life. Remember this: Allah's signs are not always loud and obvious. They often come in the subtle eyes of life, through trials that strengthen your faith, the softening of your heart towards others, and the ability to see His wisdom in the world around you. As you continue in this journey, trust Allah's plan. Everything is Allah's divine purpose for you. Embrace them with gratitude and allow them to transform your soul. When Allah chooses you, He will open the door of growth, peace and spiritual elevation that you never imagined possible.